You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Today, we're going to give you a perspective that you've never considered before about the energy world. We'll talk to the soul of Jane Goodall and hear her current perspective on dark energy. We'll talk about free will in a way you've never heard or imagined before. We were completely surprised and we're reeling from this information. Jason?
This is, we're still trying to get over it. And it's big news. So hold on here. Let's go.
Okay, good. So, Jason, what are some of the shocking truths about channeling souls?
That they maintain their programming and biases even in the afterlife.
That's huge, everyone.
Oh my gosh. This means that leaving this life does not clear you of all negative, dark energy. And as souls return, they still have that dark energy attached.
So they're carrying that baggage is what you're saying.
And it's recycling over and over again.
Well, and I would say it builds and builds and builds and builds.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you look at what's happening on Earth, if you have the sense that we're disintegrating, that we're not getting better,
yes,
there's some truth to that.
Yes.
And I realize there are pockets where there's evolution happening or bright ideas over here.
Sure.
But some of what we call dark energy is still there.
Yes.
And it's still interfering.
Yes.
And programming is dark energy, and it doesn't leave at death. That is so huge.
Correct.
And so we've been clearing these group of souls.
Okay.
And they've been, and we'll tell you the list in a little while, but they're saying, "Oh, I love this. Do some more."
Well,
we've been doing it every day because they've been bugging us to do it. It's not like they're just saying, please, will you do it? It's like, come on, let's go. What are you waiting for?
There's been a few new ones as well. But you know what? I want to back up for not back up, but make the statement. I am so grateful to Bashar, Abraham, and Seth for pointing these souls out, pointing them in our direction, because they have helped us answer so many things, so many questions that Jason and I have had, and I'm sure many others who work in this energy field that we work in.
Metaphysical realm.
Metaphysical realm.
But here's what we see. Let's make it more specific.
Okay.
They've set it up. They've set up these interviews up for us.
Yes. It's like, huh?
And I have the list right here. Should we just go through it real quick?
Yeah, sure. I think it would be great.
These are the souls that we're working with now, and this list could expand.
Well, it already has. Yes.
Some of these people, they've been reluctant to come forward, but as we clear them, they're starting. And
we're seeing why they were reluctant. But go ahead, Jason.
So there's John Muir, there's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, there's Jane Goodall, who we're going to talk to today. Samuel Clemens, who is known as Mark Twain.
Yes.
Eleanor Roosevelt, John Templeton, Eleanor the Pleiadian, Jane Roberts, Albert Einstein, Marie Curie, Vincent van Gogh, and Nelson Mandela. And then also, as requested a way long time ago, if you've been following the story,
yes,
we saw Bashar was three entities.
Three entities.
We called them 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
And that 1 wasn't really cooperating with 2 and 3. 2 and 3 wanted to join the alliance. 1 didn't want to. Well, we've been clearing Bashar 1, and some radical things have happened. And we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah. But the part that's really interesting, in my opinion, is first off, I've actually had to say to them, hey, You guys have to do this on my time. Please don't wake me up. That kind of thing. And, but also I'm really understanding that these people have, they had agendas while they were in physical bodies, but they also have, those agendas didn't just go away. And all of them all the names that we just listed, with the exception of Bashar 1, and I'll explain that in just a minute, but they all had this, I failed. I didn't get done what I needed to do.
What it starts with is they have this sense of purpose.
All of them.
They have this sense of purpose, and if you understand this idea of star seeds, all these are star seeds.
All of them.
They came to Earth for a purpose. They came here for a reason.
Yes,
and they were filled with that purpose in their lifetime.
All of their lifetime, they knew that they had something to accomplish. And I'm not talking about accomplish fame and fortune. I'm talking about they had something to do that connected with the energy.
Well, for example, Albert Einstein said
correct.
He had a formula. He always knew from childhood that he had a formula within him.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
I mean, wow. From a kid. Well, and then John Muir, we've talked about and talked to him, of course, but he had a purpose to help even almost 200 years ago, he had a purpose to help people understand the importance, the grandeur of not destroying this planet,
or life and nature,
exactly.
And
that's
the natural
part of it.
world.
That's exactly right.
So we need to keep going here.
Okay, my apologies, Jason. What are the some of the examples? Talking to people of the shocking truths.
Okay, so we'll give you some specifics.
Okay.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg can see now that she wouldn't have died
when she died.
And if you remember the history of this, she, if she would have stayed alive just two more weeks, 2 or 3 more weeks, 2.5 more weeks, something like that. When the inauguration of President Biden happened, then it would have completely changed the context of the Supreme Court.
Exactly. And by the way, we need that.
People are reeling from that.
Right.
What's happened with that, and what the Republicans did, and so she sees that was dark energy specifically that
pointed at her.
Yes,
to stop her.
Yes, and she also saw some of her personality traits.
Yeah,
she always saw herself as being totally determined. She has a lot of determination.
She was,
but she sees now that a lot of that was stubbornness,
and she was going to prove that a woman could. In so many ways.
And it got turned on her in a way.
It really did.
John Muir can see now that his stubbornness and righteousness that about the natural world and all of those things was infused in the culture of the Sierra Club.
That is
which
correct.
He founded even today.
It's
he's regretting
infused,
it. He's saying, oh my gosh,
had I approached it different.
Yes, if I had a more open-minded view.
Yes, and way of conveying it.
So it could have been so much different.
And by the way, he knows that was dark energy that did that.
And Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yes.
Could see that her acceptance and the appeasement of the rules of being a lady kept her from having her children with her, because her mother-in-law said, "No, you, being the first lady, you can't raise them.
That's right. You can't do both.
It was a rule. It was a custom.
Yes.
And as a lady, quote unquote, she couldn't disagree with her mother-in-law because that's not what ladies did.
Yes.
And now she would say, hey, heck with that. I would have fought for them. I would have made sure that they were with me.
And so that those children could have been in service and had a broader view or created a broader view of I'm going to say the financial class of this country and the rest of the world. So, Jason, is there another shocking truth here?
This is what we're still shocked by it.
Yes.
They all want to be cleared. they're coming to us. So, we think of the non-physical dimension. We raise our hands in prayer. Oh, please give me strength, give me clarity, give me wisdom.
Yes.
And they're coming to us.
Yeah.
It's all flipped around. It's all upside down. And this is an acknowledgement of the energy of free will, which we talked about in the beginning, is present here on earth.
Yes.
And this free will we have access to.
Yes.
And there's some sort of, and we're still looking at it, but we're seeing more clearly that dark energy is still present in their essence. They can see that now, but they're asking for us to help it be removed. Now, is it because we know how to remove it and they don't?
Possibly.
Or is it because we have the free will power and they
Possibly.
don't? We're trying to figure it out.
Yes, and by the way, we'll let you know.
We'll let you know. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in on you.
Well, that's exactly right.
Okay. All right. So, I just...
And it speaks to the common misconception that our souls come to us in
pure form.
They're perfect.
When they come back,
we're babies, that we're perfect, but that's not true at all. And frankly, what's happened is that this is what accounts for childhood illness, childhood disease.
Yes.
When a child gets cancer or a brain tumor, it's because they have this unresolved negative energy attached to their essence.
Yes.
This dark energy buildup happens over lifetimes.
Yes.
So
next. Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Your essence maintains these biases and dark energy attachments after death unless you do something like the ecosystem approach. Mm-hmm. That's what we designed it for.
Yes,
those dark energy attachments can account for childhood diseases and cancers, as well as many other conditions. Free will is not simply the ability to choose or an invitation to program yourself, like it's commonly known in self-help today, that self-help implies.
Right.
It's a very powerful energy that everyone has access to and can direct you in very empowered ways.
Correct.
We have been teaching this with the ecosystem approach, but have it validated by these impressive souls. Speaks to the changes in perceptions that are happening today. Oh my gosh.
And that we, Jason and I, are bringing forward today.
Traditional self-help programs and methods are not valid anymore because it twists what free will is.
That is correct. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the key points and our conversation as we channeled Jane Goodall. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Network. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the key points and our conversation as we channeled Jane Goodall.
Oh, this is so exciting.
So, Jason, our conversation as we did channel Jane Goodall. Let's talk about it.
Our first question was, can you see the dark energy around you now? And that's the question we've been asking everybody.
All of them.
But she really didn't want to talk to us. In other words, she wanted a conversation. So she started right in by not answering the question.
Yes, she did.
And she thanked us because what she was so grateful for, and this is what we were just talking about.
Yes.
That we were clearing her. She saw that when she died, when she passed, when she crossed over.
When she stepped over.
Yes.
She did it very gracefully, by the way.
Okay. So in her graceful move from one side to the other.
Correct.
She had all these people and attachments and the fame of people saying, we depend on you for this, Jane.
And it was as
their
if
energy attachments that were to her.
And they were taking pieces of her. And she's one of the only ones that I've looked at in our list here, and then, of course, of many others, but that people taking pieces of her didn't cause disease.
Well, and it's interesting because this is a whole show. We've done some shows about this.
Yes.
We're designed as human beings to get our vital energy from the creator, from the non-physical dimension.
And the earth.
We talked about a solar panel for humans. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
You should be able to regenerate yourself.
Yes.
But we've forgotten collectively how to do that. So what do? We take it from each other. And if you've ever been with someone for
a little,
an hour or so, and you feel exhausted, that's because your energy is being taken. So, but anyway, so a lot of people were taking her energy, and it was creating a shroud around her that we couldn't get to her, and it was causing her pain.
It really was.
So we cleared her. She saw that we were clearing her.
Yes.
And then that allowed her to be able to talk to us.
She came forward in kind of in a way like Ruth Bader Ginsburg did. Ruth basically tapped me on the shoulder, and
soon after she passed.
It was soon after Jane passed. She tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around and I looked at her and I said, "Who are you?" And she said, "I'm Jane Goodall." And I said, "Well, I've been trying to connect with you." And she said, "I know, there was just too much baggage." And that was the word she used. She said, "Your word, Patricia, would be too much baggage." I said, "Okay, what do you want to say? What do you want me to know?" In other words, I gave her opportunity.
And she kind of bookmarked it. She said, "I can't talk now."
Yes.
ever talk to someone? I can't talk now, but get back to me on this.
Yes.
And that's what she did, because she knew there was this all these people around interfered with her ability to really connect with us in the way that she wanted.
And she also, how do I say this? I remember this now, and I forgot to say this when we were channeling her. There was parts of what she was talking about that she knew. Well, for instance, she knew that her connection to the animals was about subtle energy, but the rule was she wasn't allowed to talk from that perspective or with that vernacular. Let me say it that way. But she knew I would understand it. Jason would understand it. And so it was one of the things that we cleared for her. And we've done it more than once, that for her to speak, and it wasn't that she was lying ever. That's not what I'm saying. But she reluctantly stepped back and didn't want to speak the truth, because speaking the truth would really harm her purpose, her reputation and purpose.
And see, we know, and we just, not from her directly, but from, going to open sources.
Yes, that's right.
How she struggled. She got a PhD from Cambridge. So when she first did this work, she had no formal training whatsoever.
Right.
And that's why, I don't remember the name of the guy who supported her. He didn't want her to have any formal training, because he wanted to see what she would see without that.
Correct.
And so she did what came natural to her, and there's no doubt that she's a starseed. But she connected with them emotionally.
Yes.
And she connected to their personality.
Yes.
And which is subtle energy.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And so, but she was profoundly, and she was judged, criticized over and over and over again.
Correct.
When she tries to get her PhD, because all of her findings were based on this seeing of subtle energy and intuition. And I'm excited about this, because this is the first step. One of the things that we've wanted to do with Bashar, Abraham, and Seth is find a way to make metaphysics and the subtle energy practices
correct,
acceptable in the scientific community.
Because understanding that would really broaden what a scientist could actually do
and see
and know.
Perceive. Yes.
Exactly.
So it's
pretty amazing.
In this age of Aquarius, this is what's coming.
Yes, it is.
They're not going to be able to stop it much longer.
Not at all.
But when you take, and this is what she said, and this is what's so exciting to us. She said one of the reasons she innately understood these energies and the feeling of the animals.
Yes.
Scientists had taken out emotions out of scientific inquiry,
right,
which also took out any knowledge of subtle energies. That's the bias that we've been talking about.
Well, and I'm going to say it just from a little bit different perspective, but it's the same thing. It's one of the reasons women have such a hard time being scientists, being doctors are scientists, just, a different division. The point that I'm getting at is that she wanted to prove her purpose.
She knew what she saw was the truth.
That's exactly right. So, but here's something I thought was also very interesting. It's a little bit different from what we've been talking about, but Jane wanted to ask us about how we saw dark energy.
See, so when you're channeling, if you've ever have watched someone else channel, basically you're asking someone evolved, and you're saying, tell me.
Yes.
And you ask a question, they answer it.
That's correct.
She wanted to have a conversation. She said, well, okay, this is what I know. What do you know? And what she wanted to know is how we saw dark energy.
Yeah. How she asked me specifically, Patricia, how do you perceive this dark energy thing that you do?
She was fascinated, even as a soul, even not in a physical body.
Exactly. And I thought it was very, very, very interesting.
And the quick answer to that was it was because of the clearing that we've done, removing dark energy from ourselves. And the bright that she saw, like all the rest of them that we talked about, the list that we talked about, the bright that they saw, and they were like, oh, okay. We've always had that bright.
Yes.
It's been covered up by dark energy. So it's a key for people that don't believe in this. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of those crazy people. I'm not one of those energy people,
Okay.
We keep hearing that over and over again.
Yes.
What it means is that there's so much dark energy, you can't perceive it. And you can't perceive the dark energy when you have a lot of dark energy covering you up.
Other than a scientist, why would you look into a black hole? To me, that says, don't stick your hand in there. You're going to get hurt.
And scientists are among the most covered up, the most repressed. Their processes, nothing in scientific training helps you see this. In fact, it kind of rules it out.
So
there's one other thing.
I know. And she asked, Jason asked the question, can you see from your perspective now how dark energy blocked you? And, first off, she was also a lady. And she
very feminine,
very, very, beautiful soul. That's all I can tell you. I could tell you a whole bunch more, but that's not what I mean. The point that I'm getting at is she raised her voice to the point of where both the dogs were in the room and they turned around and, so Jason asked a question. Can you see from your perspective now how dark energy blocked you? And she raised her voice and said, it did. But the thing that I got, it made her mad.
Yes.
That this energy stood in her way for 90 years in a physical body and blocked her, kept her stuck, having to deal with people's prejudice, scientific world.
Well, she specifically called it out.
She did.
She said, we said that she took a very open-minded approach, but she saw the prejudice and the scientific prejudice, that it was nothing else than prejudice.
Yes.
And it was from the money people also.
Right,
the business people.
Right. Yes.
What she saw was so obvious to her, but these supposedly important people couldn't see it.
Yes.
Yes. And she did tell us one example, I think, that was kind of interesting too.
Yes. And I want to take time, just a moment for this one. Jason took a very open-minded approach and said, you worked with the oil companies. And she said, I did. I had my reason. It was the only place I was going to get the money that for the research that needed to be done.
And to save the animals, otherwise they would have been killed.
Animal. Yeah. Then there's one more point, which I thought was, I laughed. She talked about when she was connecting to the alpha males in the groups that she, and there was different groups, that she said that one of the alpha males said to her via his intuition, you smell. And of course, I just cracked up because, what do we say about, the chimpanzees and the monkeys?
She was apologizing
animals?
because the alpha male was paying attention to her.
Yes.
And the first connection that we would go as humans that he was attracted to her sexually.
Yes, and he was paying attention to her because she smelled,
No, it wasn't that paying attention because she smelled. It was because he wasn't sexually attracted to her.
And that's what I meant.
Yeah,
exactly. She didn't smell like that would do it for him. Let's just put it that way.
But she was fascinated. He was fascinated by her.
Yes.
And then she had a very emotional moment.
She did.
Because
of her.
Because the females, she was describing the story. The females didn't want her around their children because they were afraid she would take her children.
Their children.
She talked about how she had her own son, but and then she started to cry.
She did,
and then Patricia was crying.
That's normal.
That's how she channels.
Yeah, that's normal for me.
So it's just
anyway. So yes. So Jason, I'm sorry we're going to have to leave this, but yeah. Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Jane Goodall was a very engaging soul to channel.
Truly.
She wanted to have a conversation with us versus talk at us. She asked us questions and wanted to know from us how we saw dark energy. She realized that in her work with chimpanzees, she was unconsciously using subtle energies by connecting with animals' emotions. She noticed that traditional scientific inquiry by removing emotions also eliminated the knowledge of subtle energies.
Correct.
This is exciting for us
because
she took the first steps toward uncovering the bias of dark energy in the scientific community. And she was especially grateful for the ecosystem approach and the theory we did on her behalf, even after she died, because there was energies interfering with her progress.
Exactly. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the work we're doing to remove dark energy with the souls we're channeling. This turns what we know about energy, metaphysics, and spirituality upside down. Oh, this is huge. This is huge. So stick with us, and we will be back in just a few minutes. This is the ecosystem approach. Stay tuned. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the work we're doing to remove dark energy with the souls we've been channeling. This turns what we know about energy, metaphysics, and spirituality upside down. You have to hear this one. By the way, this has been, I need to say this, fun and exciting and quite surprising. So, Jason, what is the radical discovery that we've made?
That they want us to clear them or remove the dark energy from them.
Yes.
And this is against everything we've been taught. We've been taught that they have the power. They're the ones that are almighty. They're the ones that are all knowing, in terms of, we've been taught that power is outside of ourselves with God, religious figures, guides, angels,
correct.
All manner of entities.
Correct.
We have these entities that we pray to and all these things.
Correct.
And this is saying, well, maybe you have the energy.
Maybe you have the energy.
If you're listening now, maybe you have maybe you have the power.
Yes. And by the way, by using the ecosystem approach, let me give you a little hint. You actually do.
This is where it starts to happen.
Yes.
And we know that all the self-help that's out there, and believe me, we've both tried, oh my gosh, a lot of that for years and years and years. Not just, we've been followers of self-help for a long time.
And trying to understand it. And when we came together, it went, well, I know that many of you have heard it, but when we came together, it was one of the first disagreements we ever had. And of course, in my opinion, it's one of the funniest. But the disagreement turned out that I ended up swearing at him and he fell in love. It was that simple.
She always swears at you. Anyways, here's the point, I guess.
Yes, it is the point.
That we know that free will is an energy.
Yes.
Self-help tells us it's our ability to choose, and we can choose who we want to be and
what we're doing in life.
And we should force ourselves to do that.
Yes.
That's not true.
Well, and
what it is,
every institution, I'm talking about educational institution, teaches exactly that.
Some form of programming.
Form of programming.
If you want to be better, think this way, feel this way.
Correct.
Manage your emotion, blah, blah, blah,
yes,
blah.
Yes,
and
yes.
we're saying, take the negative ones and see who you really are. That's where your power is.
That is exactly where your power is.
It's not making yourself into something. It's where you are authentically and bringing that forward. Oh my gosh.
Well, and many of us in the metaphysical realm, we've known since we were, before we could really, I'm going to say, we've known from a very early age. That's what I want to say. That we were here to do something different, definitely different than our classmates. I'll say it that way.
Someone, if you're listening now, and chances are you're one of those people already, because you wouldn't be listening to this show, that there's something. You've always had this feeling that there's something inside of you
that is correct,
that needs to be expressed. And even if you had utter failure all your life, even if you've or
been trained that you're a failure.
If you have, if you look at your resume and it says, this guy's loser or whatever.
Exactly.
A lot of times those people are the ones that have the potential to be most evolved.
Yes.
This is where you have to listen. You have to start removing some of this negative energy, and things are going to change.
Yes.
So I want to go ahead.
Okay. Jason, what is the new name we've created?
We created a new name to break up the alliance because it was getting confusing. So we have the Alliance 1, which is Bashar, 1, 2, and 3, Abraham, and Seth. Okay.
Yes.
And then we created this new name, which is just the Alliance 2, which is the list of people we just told you about at the beginning of the show.
Yes.
And these are the souls who were recently on Earth, and we called them Alliance 2.
Correct.
They've been bugging us to clear them every day. It's like we get up in the morning. It's like, even before your cup of coffee.
Yeah. And by the way, don't be messing with me before my cup of coffee.
This is for the Alliance 2. They need to hear this, okay? But they've been bugging us, and there is so much hurt and pain and regret that they now see was just dark energy.
Yes.
And as well as grief over what happened in their life, because they can see now how the dark energy impacted them, blocked them, stopped them, misled them, all of it.
Yes. And even lied to them.
Yes.
About who they were and what their purposes were. By the way, we never come in with just one purpose. We have many purposes. Sometimes only one of them shows up with some form of grandeur. I'm going to say Albert Einstein is definitely one of them. But there's so many things that so many of us, so many purposes that we have. So
I'm okay. Another big thing. So go ahead.
What is the new information about why Bashar, Abraham, and Seth was waiting for us? This is huge, everybody.
We didn't see it in the beginning.
No, we didn't.
They said, we've been waiting for you. But now we're seeing it more and more clearly, is we know how to remove that dark energy.
Yes.
We thought it was because they saw our light, which was
true. Yes.
Because we removed the dark energy. But they want specifically our ability to help you, if you're listening right now, to remove dark energy.
It's time for the world to go forward. Let me just say it real clearly. It's time for the world to go forward.
So part of Bashar, Abraham, and Seth's purpose in terms of channeling, which they've been doing since the 60s.
I'm sure even before,
with
but
people
go ahead.
here on Earth.
Yes.
Is that to help the Earth evolve so it can be ready for the next stage.
Right. And remember, we just entered recently the age of Aquarius. And so there's things that are being put into alignment that all we have to do is be aware of it, and we'll be able to reach out and start things, positive things going in motion. But if you've got this negative energy hanging around you, holding on and pushing you down, keeping you down, you can't either see it or do anything about it. And the bottom line is if I would say that there was a plan, that wasn't part of the plan. This dark energy came in, was very subtle, and
we're experts.
Yes.
We're experts in dark energy. And I don't know that anybody else is studying it the way we are.
No, not that I know of.
And but here's the other point that's really big.
Okay.
So we told you in the beginning, and we've told you this before, that Bashar 1 didn't want to join the alliance. He wanted to just do things the way he's always been doing it with Darryl Anka. And so we've been clearing him, and there's been...
Well, actually, Bashar 2 and 3 asked us
to clear him. Originally, yes.
Yes.
Which surprised us too, but now we're seeing how important that was. But it was a radical change for him.
Yes.
That clearing has really changed him. And
by the way, changing him opened up his perspective on positive, opened up his perspective on negative energy.
Yes.
In other words, it isn't just one thing.
And maybe there's negative energy in his relationship with Darryl Anka. Yes. Well, and the truth is we see that.
It's true.
We see that the limitations that they were frustrated by came from the limitations of the people that they were channeling through. And now we're talking to Jane Roberts, who was the one who originally channeled Seth.
Yes.
And she's no longer here. She's died. She's died.
Yeah,
she's dead. And we're talking to her essence, and she's part of this alliance too.
Right.
We've been clearing her, and she's starting to see too, also, in a way that's really compelling. But here's the question that we still haven't answered. I want to pose it to you as the audience.
Okay.
What power do we have that is available to us?
Okay.
That's not available to Bashar, Abraham, and Seth. What power do we have?
What is it?
And that obviously we know it has to do with free will, and we're trying to figure that out. When we use our intuition, this is how it works. We ask the question, we get input from them.
That's right.
And this sounds strange. This sounds strange for the scientific materialistic world, but at some point we just know.
Yes.
And we know now that we don't know, if that makes any sense.
Well, and that's why we're saying it out loud.
Yes.
Because we don't want everyone to think that what we do is magic. It is not magic.
It's available to everybody.
That's exactly right. We both have, because of removing negative energy for the last 25 years, we have the ability to see with more clarity than most. We've never met anyone in these last 25 years that had the ability that we do.
So we're trying to, and I apologize if that offends you, if it sounds arrogant.
It's not meant to be.
We're not meant to, it's not for us. We're not typically not arrogant about other things.
No.
But this is an area that we know about. And we're trying to still understand how free will energy works in the non-physical dimension.
Correct.
And we'll keep you posted.
Yes.
So if you want to make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, Jason and Patricia Roan, the Ecosystem Approach on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. And then the other way to keep in touch is by going to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. It's all one word, at theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for our newsletter. We're giving you more and more information that we can't get out on these shows and in that newsletter.
And tell your friends.
Yes.
Tell your friends.
Listen with a friend.
Exactly. And because having a clearing buddy is one of the best things ever. So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Bashar, Abraham, and Seth, as well as the recent souls we've channeled, all want us to clear or remove dark energy from them. Mm-hmm. We're still getting clarity about how our free will energy allows us to clear entities and beings in the non-physical dimension.
Yes.
We're still figuring that out. It's a big deal. But they are asking us for this clearing, and they've been asking Patricia and I to remove the dark energy for them. It's shocking. This is so shocking. And it's a change about what we've been taught and what we believe.
Yes.
They, in the non-physical dimension, are supposed to help us, right?
Well, that's what.
Not
we've
the
been
other way
taught.
around. That's the way we've been taught.
Yes.
There are two conclusions. First, human beings have more power than we've ever considered here on Earth.
That's correct. Yes.
And second, dark energy has been very effective at blocking evolution in the physical world and in the non-physical world. It has to be removed.
Yes. So in the next segment, we're going to show you how to do some clearings to help you remove dark energy from yourself right now. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Network. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to show you how to do some clearings to help you remove dark energy from yourself right now. We've started a new segment.
Yes.
And it's called Practical Wisdom.
So we're trying to bring it all together for you and say, okay, this is all lofty stuff. This is all metaphysical, very high level. But how can this help you right now?
Yes.
And so understanding free will is the basis for creating your own reality.
Yes.
You know, the secret and all this stuff, you create your own reality.
And by the way,
was true, but it wasn't quite clear enough. Yeah, yes. Which was the dark energy.
And by doing this, then you can have the life you want, but you have to use the ecosystem approach to remove negative energy.
And the greats that we've channeled all can see that if it wasn't for dark energy, they could have done so much more. Oh. So don't make it complicated.
Yeah.
Start removing the negative energies in your life, starting with the clearings we're going to do right now.
Yes.
Right now. Yes. So here we go.
Connect with us and the ecosystem approach. Jason.
And we'll tell you how to do that in just a minute.
Tell them how to do the clearing.
So you can sit, you can slouch. You don't have to sit in a lotus position. You can sit, stand, walk, lay down. You don't have to. You can just do it any way you want. You can do it in your mind, which we do all the time.
Yes.
You could do it while you're talking to someone. Your boss is giving you a hard time. You can say, "Okay, and to eliminate the anger that I'm having, so I don't punch this guy." You know, that sort of thing. You can do it. Do it. You know,
been there.
Two things at once. When you get really good at this, that's what you can do. And
Yes.
so when we say to eliminate, just gather it up in your mind's eye. It doesn't have to be a long process, and then blow it into the processor. We're going to put a picture of the processor up.
There you
and
go. Pick it up.
Just take it and put it in the processor.
Okay.
If you want a picture of the processor, go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for a newsletter. Every newsletter, we give you the clearings. We give you a little blurb, a little bit more about what we're talking about that you don't get on the show.
And a picture of the processor.
And a picture of the processor.
And by the way, that processor.
As well as the
go ahead.
The words.
As well as the words. The processor is one of the most important tools that we have, because if you get rid of negative energy and you throw it on the ground, you and somebody else is going to walk right into it. Put it in the processor. That sounds like your mom saying, clean up your room. Well, she had a point, but this is really important. Clean up that negative energy from yourself so you don't have to do it again.
It's a form of ecology. You don't want to.
It really is. So, and by the way, it goes in the processor and comes out neutral. So with that said, Jason.
Here are the first clearings.
There we go.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see the importance of removing dark energy from myself before I die and the benefits in my life today.
Nice and easy. Take a breath and pick it up. Throw it into that processor. I'm going to shorten it up just a little bit and to eliminate the barrier so I can see that personality traits that I just accepted could really be dark energy trying to block my evolution and my ability to move forward. Use the ecosystem approach to figure that out. Take a breath. And this is the beginning of it. Throw it out.
and to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that many of the personality traits that the dark has made worse by creating huge imbalances,
Yes.
like determination becoming stubbornness,
Oh, yeah.
anger becoming righteousness, obedience and cooperation becoming a form of powerlessness to ideas and beliefs that don't serve me. Oh my gosh, take a breath.
And throw it out. All right. And to eliminate the barriers to my vision and creativity so I can see how my life would change if I start removing negative energy. And by the way, first hand, that is my hand, it works. Take a breath and blow it out.
All these people in Alliance 2 are trying to tell you, if only I would have done this, it would have been life and death for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Don't wait. Do this now. If you're alive, if you're listening to this, and I assume you're alive, be sure and start doing this. Yes.
Okay. So, Jason, last one on this.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that I've been adapting to dark energy rather than removing dark energy. And I can do that using the ecosystem approach.
Nice and easy. Take a breath up and blow it out. I'd like y'all to take note. I don't throw my negative energy, as I see it, works easier to the left, meaning moves easier to the left. Jason is sitting on my left. I am not going to throw that negative energy at him. So I put my processor right back here, and that's where I'm throwing my negative energy.
Yeah.
It works. So now the next segment in how to clear and do clearings is this. We're going to activate life force creator energy. We're going to activate that. It's the most powerful energy that any of us has access to. And when you use that, you do gain clarity, but you also gain a security, a feeling of, okay, I did what was good for me and possibly others around me. It goes like this. Follow along. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can use this life force energy for clarity, awareness, objectivity, creativity, happiness, fun, love, and also have the ability to see what is blocking me starting right now and remove it. This energy, life force, comes in through the top of your head. It goes all the way down to the tips of your toes. You're going to ask it to stop right there. You're going to ask it to turn around, come back up your body, collect more negative energy, and blow it into the processor. Now, we're going to do one more activating life force. And to activate life force so I can feel empowered to remove the dark energy that is attached to me constantly, consistently, and specifically to radically change my life starting right now. Pull it in. Stop it. Bring up negative energy and blow it out. Jason?
If we've touched your heart, I want to say it a different way.
Okay.
This is really important. We're waking up starseeds.
Yes.
It's happening from the other side.
Yes.
Bashar, Abraham, and Seth are helping us.
Yes.
We're waking up, and if you feel this buzz, if somehow we touched your heart, if you got some sort of physical sensation or chill,
my feet tingle.
Some type of excitement about this information.
Yes.
This is your time. And what you need to do is connect with us. We've created the Alliance 2, which is the people that we told you about in the earlier.
Correct.
But you're going to be the Alliance 3. We're going to have people here on Earth that
Sounds
are going to be
fun.
part of the Alliance 3. And so how do you become a part of that? Well, the first thing you have to do is sign up for our newsletter and be on our mailing list.
Yes.
And you go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. At the bottom, there's a newsletter link that you can sign up for the newsletter. All we ask for is your email address. We're not going to spam you. We send out the email or the newsletter maybe twice a month. We probably do it more frequently in the future, but that's all we've been doing now.
Right.
it's a big deal.
Okay.
And then you have to make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Everybody says do it because it helps our channel. No, don't do it for that reason. Do it because you need to know when these programs come up, so you can be part of this Alliance 3 and be part of what's going to happen here on Earth.
And hear the information that will help you understand what we're doing.
And if this makes you excited, I guarantee you're a starseed,
Yes.
and this is part of what you're supposed to be doing.
So we'll connect in 2 weeks. You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Living like an ecosystem is the key to a better life for you.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.